you ever seen a cold-hearted man? They seem distant and heartless. But did you ever ask yourself why they are that way? Cold-hearted guys aren't born that way. They don't lack emotions. In fact, it's the opposite. They were once someone that cared a lot. But pain, betrayal, and the way people have treated them changed them. It made them cold as ice. Here is the dark reality. The world has a way of beating a man down. As a man, you will get hurt and screwed over. And when there is no human touch, no love and appreciation.
I couldn't have said it better. Like, being a man is very tough. It's very hard. There's nobody here to save us at all. And the thing is, we don't want pity, right? We don't want a handout. But sometimes it feels like the road and the expectations for us is so extreme. And then when you talk about those things, or you try to express those things on how those things actually make you feel as a man to improve on those things, you're looked at as like, what are you talking about this for? Just shut up and live your life and do what you're supposed to do. That's the crazy part about it. And that's a big reason why men turn and change for the worse when those type of things happen.
A man will turn cold-hearted. You'll find stoic men without care for anyone. But underneath that eternally stoic appearance lies a man who is wounded. A wound so big, it seems like a hole in their heart. I've seen many of these men in my life, and it's a sad thing to see. The truth is, you may actually be the cold-hearted man I'm speaking about without even knowing it yourself, because it can happen to anyone. I used to be extremely cold-hearted myself. I had zero care or empathy towards others, and brothers from all over the world are showing me love and support. But it wasn't always this way. My past was the exact opposite. When I was a young boy, there was no love, there was no support. I didn't grow up in a nice household with two loving parents. No, I was simply born into violence, and I've seen traumatizing things no child should ever witness. This turned me cold-hearted quick. For years of my life, I didn't care about anyone, and I know many guys are the same. They've experienced something so painful that it just made them cold-hearted. The truth is, becoming cold-hearted is a defense mechanism. They call it avoidant attachment style, meaning you avoid attaching to others because you fear having to feel that pain, betrayal, or trauma again.
So I totally understand how somebody can avoid attachment like that. And growing up, definitely what you experience as a young man can definitely affect who you are now. Like, growing up, both of my parents were pastors. So they were always on this end. And I ended up going into the music industry and being a nightclub promoter. So I was on this end. And it wasn't necessarily that I was trying to buck with what they were teaching me and what they taught me. It was just, I felt like I didn't fit in at that time. And then fast forward, I remember being in a relationship with someone, and I was like totally into that person. And they ended up cheating on me with somebody else. And I was so into that woman at that time. And then after that happened, I just went on this cold streak of not committing to anyone, not having feelings for anyone, and being all over the place. And it was all because of that. I was so attached to that person, and they did me the way that they did me. And I'm like, never again. That will never happen to me again.
Listen, we've all heard of Army veterans that become cold-hearted. They've seen hell on earth and detached from everything to deal with the pain. But the reality is that it doesn't take a war for a man to become cold.
And shout out to everybody that's in the military or that was in the military. Appreciate your service. That is, to me, that's a really hard job and a thing to do. So I appreciate y'all for real.
There are many different things that can make you detach. Maybe someone you trusted has betrayed you. Maybe you got used and abused. Maybe your girl left you. Or maybe you really thought society cared about you and had to learn the hard way that they don't. There are many different reasons for a man to become cold-hearted, but at the end of the day, it really comes down to one thing: pain. You may think this could never happen to you until it does. No matter how strong and kind you are, we all have a breaking point. Do you really think the men that are cold-hearted and stopped caring actually want to be that way? They don't. A cold-hearted man deep down still seeks human intimacy. He won't admit it, but it's something he longs for deep in his soul. But at the same time, he'll tell himself, a cold heart is a heavy burden to carry, but it's better than a broken one.
Absolutely.
Listen, the men that become cold-hearted and emotionally detached wear a shield. They armor themselves against the outside world and don't connect with others, while other men become consumed with rage and hatred. They pick up a sword and attack the world, often hurting themselves and everyone around them. Both methods are detrimental because they don't allow you to make allies.
Yeah.
Do not misunderstand it. Both the shield and the sword are useful tools, but they must be controlled. You must know when to lower your guard and sword, when to trust others and be kind.
Man, that's spot on, because I can tell you, for me, it's very, very hard for me to trust people, because I went through a big stage where I trusted a lot of people. Anybody that came in my circle, a lot of the times I was pretty much willing to just give them a shot, to be a part of my life, to be a part of what I had going on. But then when you get used for money, used for attention, when you got people around that time that try to talk to people that you've been with, women you've been with, it's really hard to let people into your life after that. I even look at it right now, like, I talk to my brother and maybe like one or two other guys that I'm cool with, that I consider friends. But I really don't have that many, because I've been did wrong by a lot of people. And yes, that's something I do need to get over, but it's hard to let your guard down. So I definitely understand that. Let me know if you feel like that too. Like, it's hard for you to trust people. Like, put that in the comments, what you do struggle with when it comes to trusting people. Or is there a situation that happened with you that turns you like that?
To pick up your shield and weapon. In other words, the best men can turn cold-hearted when necessary. They can use their dark emotions, but they can also be warm, kind, and compassionate. So, accept your scars, heal, and control your emotions. It's easier said than done, but know this: if you never heal from what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you.
If you never heal, you'll bleed on people that never cut you. I can see sometimes and see how that's actually very accurate. I feel like I'm a very nice person to some extent, but I also feel like sometimes I have a temper, and my temper can get the best of me. I've been told sometimes I'm hot and cold, being honest. And that's because just something just snaps back into me, like, don't let people take advantage of you. Don't let people run over you. Because earlier that was happening and me not even knowing it. But it's true, like, if you don't heal with those things as a man or as a person, those things will carry on. And then when somebody really comes into your circle and your life that really cares about you and wants the best for you, you'll constantly bleed on. Yeah, this was great. So shout out to FarFromWeak. That was a great video. Definitely understand it. Definitely feel it. That hit with me too. I like that.